Hello, this is Mugetsu, and well, for the first time in a while, we're gonna have a non-Chrono stuff stream. Tonight, I'm gonna be playing Castle Crashers with DC Korea. Well, in the description, it mentions it. He requested this game, and he also provided it, so yeah, it's thanks to him that I even have the game and the DLC. Alright, give me a moment just to share the link and do the basic stuff, and we'll start soon. Well, well, thank you for passing by, Roundcat, and have fun or good luck with the drawing. I haven't set it up, Roundcat. I think I forgot what is the type for Dialga and Palkia. I think that they are steel type. I'm not sure what is the weakness for steel. Fire? Other than that, I'm not sure. I mean, also, my only strong fire Pokemon is Charizard, basically. Well, there is also the Darumaka evolution, but not quite there. I mean, he's only like 2,700 power. Well, Charizard is like 2,800. I don't have any fire legendaries. Wait, never mind. I think I have a Moltres, but I haven't raised him. And I have a bunch of Larians that are more or less kind of strong in like the 2400s. Dialga is Steel Dragon, Palkia is Water Dragon. Dragon resists fire, so that doesn't work. I mean, my Charizard has Dragon Claw. I mean, has Dragon attacks. I have two Dragonites, for that matter. Mm, So I suppose I can use them, and maybe I could pick up one of the Ampharos because Mega Ampharos would be Electric Dragon. I would have to use Dragon moves or Electric for Palkia. The Alga is weak to fighting and ground. Palkia is weak to Dragon and Fairy. I mean, the only ground type I have in any remote fighting condition is probably uh, what is the evolution of Drill War? X Excadrill. And fighting, well, I do have Terrakion. Dragon Pulse on Ampharos. You know what? Let me check the IVs. And if I have one with good IVs, I can do that. Okay, so basically a bunch of dragons, and I don't really have any ice hitters other than Blastoise. And I think I actually changed that to water. I don't even remember. Okay, so the Dragonites, Charizard with Dragon Claw. Terrakion. Okay, they aren't weak to ice. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Okay, with the knowledge that they are basically dragon types, I guess I can work a team out. By the way, funny you mentioned Dialga and Palkia because I did one of the Team Rocket missions. I beat up Giovanni and I got a Shadow Dialga, but it has only 2-star IVs, so it's not even that good. Yes, and I told you I almost didn't get Poplio spawns. So it's not that I didn't try, it's just I really didn't get many Poplios. I caught the few I found. As for fairy types, I think that the only, well, not really a fairy type attacker. I mean, Sassier. Technically, I have the Sylveon, but Sylveon has psychic attack, So, and apparently it cannot be relearned if I change it. So, yeah, probably not gonna work. I do have a Blissey, but I haven't powered it up. A Dynamax Blissey. Uh, I have a Marill, but I think that Marill is bad. You told me. He was also available during the summer concert. I don't recall seeing mini Poplius in the summer concert. Trust me, I was playing. I think I caught like 200 Pokemon during that hour, and it wasn't mini Poplius. I don't know what it was, I don't remember, but it wasn't Poplius. Blissey is in a fairy type. Wait, which one am I getting it mixed up with? What is the other fairy type? I know that I evolved a fairy type. Okay, so Bliss is not a fairy type. What the hell? Try to recall. Oh wait! Oh wait! Okay, my mistake. It's not Blissey. I mean, I do have a Dynamax Blissey. It's a Clefable. Yeah, I remember. I got a Clefairy, evolved it to Clefable, and that is like the only other fairy type I have besides Sylveon. Well, the only other fairy types I have are the untransformed Sassias, but I don't think that they're gonna be that good, considering that they are the weak form. Damn. Base Sassiness still needs to level. Wait, what? Really? I thought that the untransformed form. I mean, the base form was basically like legendary beard level, and then the transform form. I mean, the transform version is like Mewtwo level. What? The problem is that the crown wolves get all the candies. Yes, and they are not exactly easy to come by. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to try to get other fairy types, and I don't really know. Transform form is Arceus level? How many Pokemon are Arceus level? What the hell? I thought Arceus was supposed to be like at the very top, being God, and that the highest level was Mewtwo for most others. How many more Arceus level Pokemon do we have? What about that flower Pokemon? I'm not even sure which one you're talking about. Arceus has also been around for 20 years. What? Arceus 20 years? Okay, you got to be kidding me. Because I am 33 years old, and I know for a fact that Pokemon first came out when I was about 10. There is no way Pokemon has been out. I mean, there is no way Arceus has been out for 20 years. Because 20 years ago, just Gen 1 was coming out. What the hell? (2006). Really? Diamond and Pearl came out in 2006? Oh wait, that checks out because in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, there was that stage with Dialga and Palkia, and that was when I was in high school. Well, okay, that kind of checks out. 20 years. God freaking damn it. I hate being old. God damn it. Also, I have seen and caught that Pokemon Flabébé. I thought it was kinda useless. I mean, I caught it in Scarlet and literally never used it. It looks weak, so I just caught it for the Pokédex. I didn't really bother. So, is Flabébé worth using? Lucario is also Gen 4 and he's playable in Brawl. Oh yeah, you're right. I kinda lost track what generation Lucario is in. I just know for a fact that he was in Generation 3, but I had no idea. I told you before, generations after 3 and up until 9 are basically a blur to me. I cannot recognize what is from what generation. I don't even know who were the protagonists of the new generations or what Pokemon was in. I mean, in the game. I don't even know. I don't even remember what were the games. Flabébé's evolved form has like 3,500 power at max. Huh. I didn't even know Flabébé had an evolution. God damn it. Okay, this is the second time I get trolled by weak-looking Pokemon. Because I swear this happened with Darumaka. I thought it was just a useless fire type. I didn't think it would be any strong because it looks kinda weak. It's also not a grass type. It's pure fairy. Wait, a literal flower and it's not grass type? Okay, please, Pokemon designs, make it make sense. You're telling me a flower is not grass type? Florges max combat power is 3,657. Holy hell. I mean, for a non-pseudo legendary, that's pretty strong. To be fair, it's just holding a flower, not actually a flower. Huh. Okay, I hadn't really looked and paid attention to the detail. I just googled the image. And you're right, it's actually a Pokemon holding a flower. I thought it was a flying flower. Okay, it actually makes sense it being a fairy. Huh. Flabébé is getting a community day in September if you want to get a lot of candies for it. Yeah, probably. I wasn't aware that was gonna be a useful Pokemon. But then again, I basically operate on Gen 1 knowledge and what you have told me. I still used to think that Psychic was a strong type until you told me that they are riddled with weaknesses. Routes is also getting a Spotlight Hour later this month with a double catch candy. So you can get another fairy type that way. I have caught a few routes. I don't think I have any with good IVs. But I do have some candy. Like 40, I think. Okay, I guess I need to step up my fairy game. And I suppose it wouldn't hurt to get a bunch of extras because, you know, using fairy types to hold gyms. Hello, Ganda! Well, right now, I'm waiting for DC, but you know what? I have a mild suspicion he might have fallen asleep. So, this stream might not actually happen. Okay, it was my fault. The thing with my grandma was holding me up a very long time, and then I had to rest because every time I injure my arm or my back or both, and yeah, not so much riddle, but their weaknesses are a lot of more prominent now. Huh. I mean, being weak to bug type is probably way worse because some of the weakest Pokemon are bugs. So being weak to lame Pokemon. I mean, I guess you can cheese the psychic type with bugs now. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna check on TC. Now, put on this fuchsia target a fairy. God damn it. Why are fairies so dominant in Pokemon now? Fairy didn't even exist back in my day. I sent him direct messages, Uganda. I mean, it's functionally the same as pinging. But yeah, I have a suspicion he fell asleep because he normally joins the streams quick. Dark and Ghost also got better over the generations. People are even saying Ghost needs to be nerfed. Huh. Yeah, same. He got me this game and he got me the DLC, which I'm very thankful for. I'm just sorry that, he kinda caught me at this unfortunate timing because, I'm still dealing with the consequences of my father's surgery and the whole disaster I have at home. Well, you have seen my streaming schedule was heavily compromised. And for that matter, my physical health has been also taking a dip. Because they pink and sparkly and Japan is the land of magical girls. Well, the thing is, I am neither pink, I am very much brown, and I get squeaky clean after a shower, but I am not sparkly. And obviously, I am not a girl, if my voice doesn't make that obvious. Nor do I have any magic that I know of. Unless you consider extreme bad luck a form of magic. Pretty much. I do what I can, but there is a point where not even that is enough. Especially it's physical limitations, like my arms, my elbow, my back get destroyed. I have to lay in my hammock for hours just to recover enough to sit for a few hours also. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Why fairy is so powerful? Okay, valid answer. But there are some things that don't finish making sense. For example, let's see. Like, okay, I understand fairy being good against dark, because beings of light, I guess. But for example, what the hell? Fairies are good against fighting? How? Fairies are literal bugs. Any punch or kick will obliterate them. Or fairies being good against dragons? Like, how? Why? That kinda doesn't check out. A dragon would destroy a fairy. That doesn't make that much sense to me. Maybe it's time to upgrade the bed. Well, Uganda, remember, I don't really use a bed. I sleep on a hammock. And there's actually no upgrading it. It's already as good as it can be. It's gonna sound kinda fancy for the third world, but my hammock, the threads are made of silk. Because usually, the cheap ones are made of nylon, but nylon is horrible. So this is an older artisanal hammock. The threads are made of silk, and it doesn't get any better than that. So laying in the hammock is basically my equivalent to the healing capsule from Dragon Ball Z. Laying in there, I can heal and recover. It's just that these days I need extensive recovery every time because I kind of wreck my body every time I do the physical taking care of my grandma. Didn't you see Mr. Nani, which had Hulk Hogan in a tutu? Nope. I don't even know if that is a movie or series, a meme. I have no idea. They must have been inspired by Sleeping Beauty when they were deciding what fairies we storm against. Okay, now that actually makes sense. I don't remember. Yeah, the fairies in the Sleeping Beauty blessed Prince Philip's sword. Actually, I don't know what was the name in English. In Spanish, it was Príncipe Felipe, Prince Philip, but I'm not sure if that is the actual translation. But yeah, I remember the fairies enchanted the sword, and the sword destroyed the dragon. Okay, I can see how that checks out. They also needed to nerf the dragon type because Pokemon like Latios and Salamence were too strong with Draco Meteor. I mean, dragons basically kill each other. But fair enough. Hello, MS. Welcome, and at the same time, I'm sorry because I think that TC fell asleep waiting, and I was just explaining, yeah, it's kind of my bad, you know, what's my situation. So I think that this intended stream will probably happen at a later date. Probably Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, I know, Ron Cat, and I'm just explaining literally why. Because TC hasn't responded, and I mean, he was the one who provided the game, requested it, so it would be a total disrespect to actually play this without him, so... Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to pass the time, but... yeah, I think that this is not gonna happen tonight. Another night anyway, the time zone differences. Yeah. Like Radical Dreamers. I mean, yes, Round Cat. Sorry about that, MS. You know, when my situation normalizes, I'm gonna try to get back to earlier streams, you know, starting at like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Might be kind of pushing it because, you know, I still have to provide care for my grandma. Even if I get help. Because right now, what's killing me is that I'm the only person doing it. And it literally puts a heavy strain on my body. Oh yeah, you're right. But you know, I mean, it's kinda late and most of us probably had a long day. So I can understand if you fell asleep. I still have work to do. I can't even afford to go to sleep right now. Radical Dreamers is also a good game to play late since the whole game takes place at night. You know, I haven't really seen it that way, but you're right. That's pretty fitting. And you know what? Okay, I know that you actually need to play Chrono Cross so that Radical Dreamers makes more sense. But I still feel that Radical Dreamers is kind of more Well, not exactly, maybe not more faithful, but at least in some ways closer to Chrono Trigger, in ways that Chrono Cross just completely failed at. But I still think that Surge as a character it was kind of poorly executed. They should have maintained the connection to Chrono. If not Chrono, his son. Yeah, because like, who the hell is Surge? I know, he's the super important character that the plot needs, but basically a Marquis 2. Or 2 steps from being a Marquis 2. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sold on Surge as a protagonist. And also, I mean, Kid's connection to Chrono Trigger is kinda weak because Shala was only relevant until the final ending. Well, she had some relevance before, but I mean, of all the characters in Chrono Trigger, you're gonna pick the weakest Link? Chrono died though. Well, all the more reason, you know, have Chrono's son fight to avenge his father. Wait. I don't remember them saying that Chrono died in Chrono Cross. Only Luca died? The fate of Chrono and Marle is unknown? Or did I miss something? Shala's pendant started the whole adventure. I mean, yes, her pendant, but I mean, she's not really that much there in terms of character presence in Chrono Trigger. And then to have Kid being connected to Shala, it doesn't really work out for me. If they wanted to establish that kind of connection, it should have been, you know, either connected to Marle or connected to Ayla. But freaking Shala. "1005 was the fall of Garia, so Chrono probably didn't have the time to make a key." God damn it. You see Chrono Marle's ghosts. I wasn't sure if those were ghosts. I thought it was, you know, like their kid version. Huh. It's some kind of Japanese trope where they show your ghost as a child version of yourself. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. You know, I guess here in the West, Usually, if you want to imply that it's the ghost of a dead person, it's either the person at the age at which they died or the person at their prime. The main story of Chrono Trigger ended with Charlotte's disappearance before the Black Woman rises. But I still feel like they could have done better how to write Kid into the story to maintain a proper link to Chrono Trigger. Because we have this phrase in Spanish that esta está muy jalado de los pelos. You know, that this, you know, they're basically grasping at straws. If I wanted to convey a similar meaning, grasping at straws just to have that token connected to Trigger. Because in the original timeline, Shala and Queen Seal died when Lavos was awakened, but Chrono changed their fate by taking Lavos' rage, so Queen Seal can't talk to Lavos when he calms down. Okay, that part does work. But I don't know, I'm still not entirely content with the execution of Chrono Cross, and by consequence, you know, even Radical Dreamers, Kid and Surge don't feel like they're the most solid connection to Trigger. Magus at least is in Radical Dreamers, but Chrono Cross dropped that, so not even that. He saved Dalton from dying to Lavos and well. Yeah, that was a big mistake. You know, at this point, they should have gone to the past and make sure to kill Dalton. Okay, let's check. 43 minutes. And Surge was supposed to be a new protagonist, so people didn't play Chrono Trigger. So people who didn't play Chrono Trigger could relate to him. Yeah, I would say this whole premise is already wrong. Because you do this for a spin-off, not for a sequel. You want a sequel to be connected to the original game. Yeah, if they wanted to do a spin-off, that would have been fine. But a proper sequel, yeah, this wasn't it. You know, that's kind of the thing with Chrono Cross. It feels like it does have what it takes to be a good game, but it fails to deliver on nearly all the important aspects. You know, it has the potential, but it's not polished. It's basically a raw gem, or I'm not sure how they say it in English, because in Spanish it's like, for example, like un diamante en bruto, but I don't think in English it's like that. I mean, a diamond in the raw. doesn't sound so well, but then again, I'm not sure. I sometimes, don't know the English version of sayings. Yeah, actually, that was my plan, Roundcat. I'm gonna edit the title post stream because half the time it doesn't work when it's live. But yeah, I'm gonna have to change the title because obviously Castle Crashers not happening. That's what happens when your game gets rushed and loses the third disc. Yeah. I guess this serves as a cautionary tale, because imagine if they did this to Final Fantasy VII. Oh my god, that would have been unforgivable. I cannot even begin to imagine. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, the original game, getting botched. I know that the remake, it took the remake to botch it, but at the very least, the original is a gem. We also lost 20 characters that were planned to be playable. Is that really a tragedy at this point? Because there's already like 20 characters too many. Yeah, there's a bunch of characters that shouldn't have been playable other than maybe temporary segments. The relevant gang is probably less than 20. I guess it could have been interesting, but more characters to bloat the roster, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. That's way too many characters. If they wanted to feel like an upgrade from Chrono Trigger, I think that they should have just kept, like... I mean, Chrono Trigger was limited to 3 playable characters. So Chrono Cross, or the ideal Chrono Trigger 2 could have had a party of 6 just to show, the improvement. Having 6 at a time with maybe a dozen core characters in total just to swap in more teams, but I don't know. The execution in Chrono Cross doesn't finish to convince me. If Ozzy, Flea, and Slash were intended to be playable, then yes, it was a loss. Okay, fair point. And also, having actually Magus. Magus is not even my favorite character from Chrono Trigger, but at least someone from Trigger, because apparently everyone else is dead. At least someone. And also, considering that they did Robo Dirty, which I still cannot forgive. You got Leah, which is close enough. I mean, kinda, but at the same time, not quite. She even has one of the same. She even has some of the same takes as Ayla. I know, but I mean, the lore didn't fully utilize her. I mean, I see your point. And also, thank you for the follow. But at the same time, I'm not even sure if that's a person or a bot. I'm sorry. If you're actually a person, I apologize. It's just bots tend to message like that. How would they handle the Link's body swap if the roster was limited to 12? Okay, to be fair, I wasn't accounting for the Link's body swap. But now that you mention it, okay, maybe that could make it viable to have up to like 24, 30 playable characters. But that's still less, you know. I think that the game in total has like 40. That's way too much. And even then, you know, keeping the parties separate and kind of like the Golden Sun sequel. Also, you actually had an epic battle between your new party and the old party from the original game. Chrono Cross never delivered on that. Which characters do you consider essential for the Link's chapters? Let's see. Harl, she's relevant to the plot. I'm not sure if Sprig, I mean, she does have a role early on. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see who else. Essential. I'm really not sure if I can consider Fargo essential. Because he's just important because, you know, he has thieving abilities. Let's see, what other characters? I also don't know if I can vouch for Riddle being essential. Maybe the mermaid, kinda. I kinda forgot. Irenis. It's kinda hard to determine which characters are actually essential to the plot because I feel most of them aren't. They might be essential for the gameplay, but for the plot, Draggy is another kind of questionable case. Yeah, it's really hard for vouch for the relevancy of the characters. Fargo also saves you when Kid and Dark Surge attack. Okay. Fargo essential since he helped you earlier and has ties to Marcy and Nikki. Okay, good point. You know, we can give Fargo essential level relevancy. Okay, so we have Harl, Fargo, arguably Sprig. I mean, I guess Starkey. Radius probably also. He does have some connections to the plot. It wouldn't be out of place if a pirate joined you in Chrono Trigger. Yeah, you're right. The thing is, you know, kinda, it happens twice in Chrono Cross. You know, Kid first, and then Fargo. But okay, fair point. Norris was essential too since he held with Poor and got you the boat. I was thinking about that, but I mean, after that, he's not so important, but okay. Okay, so Harl, Fargo, Sprig, Norris. Radius could be an NPC, yeah. Okay, so we have 4. I'm not sure if Starkey counts. That would make 5. And I mean, that would complete the 6 with Lynx. X-Volt, se suponía que iba a jugar Castle Crashers, pero creo que el TC Corea se durmió. Así que nada más he estado aquí, pues básicamente platicando. Y de hecho, sí, ya estaba pensando en cerrar el stream. Ya estamos básicamente llegando a la hora. Y considerando que no se hizo nada, pues también creo que no vale la pena. Norris is like the first non-temporary who does something significant. Okay, very fair point. La verdad no lo culpo, X-Volt. Ya mencioné que mi situación ahorita es un poco complicada. Y creo que el pobre TC se durmió mientras me esperaba. Entonces, sí reconozco que fue mi culpa. Starkey they could cut out since all he did was make the bot fly. Okay. Okay, we have 4 characters and Lynx. That's a party of 5. And I suppose the sixth character can be Leah, and you have your party of 6 for the links portion. Riddle has to stay since he was important to the earning in the game and wasn't Radical Dreamers. Okay, we can give the 6th spot to Riddle. Cars and Marcy I consider essential. I mean, essential for the gameplay, maybe, but for the plot, really? I'm not so sure about Cars. I might have some reservation about Marcy, but I'm not sure if they are actually essential to the story. Todavía me faltan como 3 endings, X-Bolt. El domingo va a ser el siguiente stream y creo que ya con eso se acaba. Not so, since he never did anything important. Marcy is a half demi-human. I'm not sure how that's important, especially since it doesn't really show. I mean, Lynx does look the demi-human part. Irenis obviously looks the part. Fun guy, he's not even relevant, but he does look demi-human. Cars, you need to get Darius pendant, and he has a backstory with other characters like Lane and Zappa. Okay. X-Volt, todos esos planes creo que van a ser hasta septiembre que se normalice mi situación. Pero sí quiero jugar a Hacker's Memory. Y también tengo algunas otras solicitudes de otras personas, como el MS. Así que vamos a ver. Nada más es... ahorita con la situación como la tengo ahorita, como la... o sea, la situación como está ahora, no estoy haciendo tantos streams. Porque físicamente tengo que descansar bastante más. Sí. El dolor de la espalda y del hombro no es de chiste. La verdad sí es feo. Necesito descansar varias horas para recuperarme. Given the racism between humans and demi-human, Marcy is a sign of hope that they can find peace. Okay, you know what? That's a good point. If only they actually play that angle more in the story with Marcy. Because I swear they kind of forget she's demi-human. Básicamente aguantar un mes más, X-Bolt. Un mes más y ya volvemos a nuestra programación habitual. Exactamente, X-Bolt. Justamente me leíste la mente. Well, guys, seeing that the intended purpose for the stream did not happen tonight, and considering that it's also been past an hour, I think I'm gonna call it here. I will rename the stream later, just to leave it. And I suppose I will reschedule with TC at a later date. On Sunday, we're gonna continue with Radical Dreamers, and after that, I guess it's kinda up in the air. I do have some other requests I'm gonna try to fit in, after Radical Dreamers, we're gonna see. If there was, if there were less characters, their stories would be fleshed out more. Just look at how much more they did with Kid in Radical Dreamers when she's not an optional character who's gone 3/4 of the game. Yeah, that's a very good point, and that's also why I think less is more when it comes to characters in an RPG. Because you actually want to achieve a deep development of the stories for these characters instead of having hordes of shallow development character. Because you're not gonna get invested in them, you're not gonna care about them to the same extent as you would for characters who you actually get to see develop and, you know, being a video game, interacting and participating in that development. So yeah, I think Roller Cross really messed up on the number of playable characters and how they handled the whole thing. Roundcat, yes, I will do that, but you know what? After Radical Dreamers, I will address some of the other requests and then get back to that. You know, I have been doing Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Radical Dreamers. I mean, okay, it's fair. I agreed. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying I have been doing this request of yours. After this, I will try to accommodate other requests and then I will get back to yours. And basically, I'm gonna try to juggle these things throughout this next month. And presumably on September, I'm gonna try to get back to schedule more regularly. The spooky season is also coming. Yeah, but for me, spooky season is in October because it doesn't really make sense in September. Remember, in Mexico, September is the patriotic month. You know, like you guys with July. You guys have the 4th of July. Mexico has the 15th of September. Because the 5th of May is not the actual Independence Day. It's just the day we kick the French's ass. Yes, that is true, but not our independence. Yes, I'm aware of Ocarina of Time. I will eventually get back to that, you know, as we fix the schedule throughout September. So, yeah, again, we have to be patient because these are situations that are quite beyond my control. So just bear with me until it happens. Xball, de hecho eso sí lo tengo pensado para el 15, porque pues siendo mi cumpleaños, pues sí debo de jugar algo que yo quiera. Ahí voy a ver qué hago. Pero sí tengo pensado eso también, no te preocupes. Aquí en México no, ese es en octubre. Sí, es lo que le estoy diciendo a Roundcat, que lo del spooky y toda la cuestión de Halloween en septiembre no tiene sentido en México. El 15 de septiembre, justamente. The Spirit Halloween is open in September though, and people start already decorating for Halloween. Yes, that is the reality in the United States, but newsflash, I am not in the United States. I try to respect, but you know, I think it would be fun if I actually tried to stick with the thematic. I'm not sure how many Mexican games are. I know games that depict Mexico or use it in some playable form. I mean, there is the whole thing with Age of Empires 2 and 3. Age of Empires 3 actually has playable Mexican civilization, and it's pretty damn fun. You missed the Shadow Temple before Halloween, so now you have the next Halloween to work with. Okay, fair, but I think I'm gonna try to do that in October. Lots of streamers start playing Spooky in September. Yes, but gringo streamers, and I am not one of those. You know what? I'm gonna see. Maybe I can do a balance of like spooky and other games for September. But I still feel like October is the actual start for spooky season. Because that is, at the end of October, we celebrate the Day of the Dead. And I mean, there is a Halloween, but it doesn't really feel right in September. Super Adventure Rockman took place in a Mayan temple. I know. I love to see that. That was very neat. I suppose we can do a watch along for that. Well, we're gonna see what happens. Right now, I'm just gonna try to do what I can, hold out until September, try to get back on track, and after that, it should be smoother sailing. But there is no reason to overcomplicate right now. It's August and there's already Halloween stuff in stores. Yeah, but is August really spooky month? Come on. Now that I think about it, August doesn't really mean anything in Mexican folklore. Yeah, I don't think that there is any particular relevance to the month of August in the Mexican mindset. In our culture, August doesn't really matter that much. They already have the core in Kenya, Malaga supermarket. I mean, yes, I understand, Ron Cat. But that is not the case in here. Me gusta agosto, no se hace nada. Creo que esa es la gracia. The scary campsites. There is also that we in Mexico don't really do a whole lot of camping. We see that as a thing that they do in the United States, in movie series, they show it. But we don't really do it here. I mean, it's more like, why subject yourself? I mean, it's also because, I know that in the United States, you have pretty forests and camping areas. Meanwhile, here we just have a raw, unfiltered wilderness, jungle, and you're not gonna have a good experience trying to camp there. You're gonna probably end up fighting a jaguar or a puma and dealing with mosquitoes, and it's just gonna be an absolute hell. So, yeah, people don't really go camping here. Yo sí pedía dulcecitos de mí. Qué bueno. Me imagino que debe ser divertido. Aparte, disfrazarse de cosas. Sí, esas sí fueron experiencias que yo me perdí. Can we watch some spooky episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark and Haunting Hour that take place during camping trips on Theater Thursday? Yeah, sure. You know what? We can do that. That's an easy stream, and I mean, I guess it satisfies your thematic, and it's not that hard for me to do. So, yeah, sure. There's spooky things in the woods here. I mean, I guess the only real danger, the only real dangers I can think of are wolves and bears. Okay, fair enough. It's comparable to a jaguar. And all the legends, like the headless horseman or whatever it's called. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna do some spooky watch-alongs, and I'm gonna try to address other requests throughout these weeks, and we're gonna see. All right, guys. That's gonna be it for tonight. Cuando Slenderman y esos juegos de miedo hace décadas, el Jeff the Killer. ¿Hay juego de Jeff the Killer? ¿Creerás que nunca escuché yo? Sí sé del juego de Slenderman. Nunca escuché que hubiera un juego de Jeff the Killer. Sí me sé el creepypasta. Me gustaba leer los creepypastas en su época. pero no sabía que hubiera un juego. There's old houses in the woods too. Oh yeah. That's kind of funny. Here in Mexico, you probably not are not gonna find old houses in the woods. Here in the Yucatan Peninsula, I guess if you're lucky, you can find Mayan ruins because a lot of them have are still undiscovered. So if you dig deep enough, you can probably find some Mayan archaeological sites, uh, but not an actual livable house like in the United States. Because again, people don't really go and live in the wilderness. It doesn't work. Hospitales abandonados. Sí, me sé varios juegos así spooky. Y ¿sabes qué es curioso? Al principio, cuando estaba haciendo streams, sí lo mencioné que generalmente no hacía esos juegos. No porque me den miedo, vamos a ser justos, no, no es porque me dé miedo, sino precisamente porque como no tengo esa sobrereacción, no hago las payasadas que hace el típico youtuber así. Entonces digo, creo que no va a tener la misma gracia hacer esos juegos, porque no me voy a exaltar como se espera, así de manera cómica. O sea, si lo intentara hacer sería forzado. Y yo trato de dar reacciones naturales cuando juego. Entonces, siempre pensé que a nadie le iba a interesar. O sea, ver un tipo que juega juegos de terror y no se asusta. suena, suena un poco arrogante que lo diga así, pero pues, es la verdad. Acá en el occidente. RIP. Like what reincarnate kid told Serge's grandson. Huh. Don't forget what happened in The Simpsons in the Boy Scouts episode. What happened to the scouts who went the right river? Yeah, I know, I know. All right. Bueno, supongo que sí podemos hacer algunos juegos spooky. ¿Y sabes qué? De hecho, una solicitud que tengo técnicamente cuadra. Ahí vamos a ver. El MS es el que sabe de lo que estoy hablando. Ahí vamos a ver. All right, guys. So, like I was saying, it's go that's gonna be it for tonight. So, thank you so much for sticking around. We're gonna continue with Radical Dreamers on Sunday. And I guess I'm gonna try to incorporate spooky games and spooky watch alongs throughout the next weeks. Even though it doesn't really make the most sense to me, but whatever. Ya, Mimir, que aquí espantan. All right, and also Roundcat, no problem. Thank you in advance. All right, guys, whatever it is in your time zone, have a good one, and hopefully see you next time.